Honshu is a trick-taking, map-building card game set in feudal Japan. Players are lords and ladies of noble houses, seeking new lands and opportunities for fame and fortune. Honshu is a little bit of bluffing and card strategy, and a little bit of tile laying and spatial puzzle solving, with a variety of different paths to victory. Cities form beautiful mosaics as players select and arrange cards. The goal is simple: create the most glorious city by carefully arranging cards to maximize victory points. Various land uses require different conditions to be met in order to score points. Here's where the really engaging part comes in. Each time you obtain a card, you must connect it to your existing city by over or underlapping it by at least one square. The permutations and combinations become nearly endless, as you often need to make tough decisions about where to place the tile, what will get covered, and what spaces of opportunity for future growth you will leave yourself.
Honshu is a 2 to 5 player game. It's played over 12 rounds and takes about 30 minutes. The game comes with 6 double-sided starting map cards, 60 regular map cards, each with a combination of land uses. And those include forests, cities, lakes, resources, factories, and fallow fields. There are also resource cubes that correspond to some of the land uses, player order cards, optional scoring variant cards, and player aids for scoring. To start the game, each player is dealt one starting map card, and then adds the resource cubes for any resource squares on that card. In each round, the players will add one map card to their land, either by overlapping or underlapping with another card. This is done strategically to maximize possible victory points. Remember, only squares that are visible will score points. No rearranging of cards after they've been placed is allowed. While there are lots of options, one land use, the lakes, cannot be placed under another card and can never be covered over later. Also, overlapping where there is a resource cube can be done, but the player will lose that resource. At the end of the game, each forest square will count as 2 victory points. Each orthogonally connected city square in your largest city will count as 1 victory point. You'll also get victory points for each resource moved from the resource cube onto a factory tile, and those are worth between 2 to 4 victory points. Lake squares give you 3 victory points for each orthogonal square after the first connected square. So 3 squares would give you 6 points, and 4 squares would give you 9 points. Fallow fields don't give you any victory points, but are used in a tie-break situation. There are no negative points. Hurrah!
Honshu is played out over 2 6-card hands for a total of 12 rounds. Map cards have a value from 1 to 60. On their turn, players will play cards in order to vie for position in selecting the cards played. For example, playing a 40 when your opponent plays a 20 will mean you will select before them. After 3 rounds, your hand is then passed to your opponent for the remaining 3 rounds. And after those 3 rounds have been played out, Another hand of 6 cards is played. The game differs in the way that cards are obtained between a 2-player and a 3 to 5 player game. In a 2-player game, 2 cards are drawn from the deck to form a single pair. Then, players choose and simultaneously reveal cards to form a second pair. The player who plays the higher card will select a pair of cards from which they will play a single card. The other player will then be left to select from the other pair. If the low player so desires, they may sacrifice 2 resource tokens from their city in order to take the first selection. In a 3 to 5 player game, numbered cards are used to display the turn order for placing and obtaining map cards. The first player must play a card, then the second, and so forth. A player may choose to up the ante with a resource cube from their city. This will add 60 points to their score and will set the suit for others wishing to play a resource cube that round. Once all players have played their map cards, the number cards are rearranged to indicate player turn order for selecting cards they want for their city. This turn order will then also be the order in which cards are played in the following round.
What am I gonna do?
Hey everybody, I'm Shawn.
And I'm Molly.
And we are
Two of Hearts. So, we love Honshu.
We love Honshu.
We picked it up at our local game store, who did a pre-order from Essen, and we took a chance on a game we didn't know that much about, and it's been super fun to play.
Great little tile-laying game. Yeah, so I guess we were pretty much struck by the fact that this was a pretty simple game that worked with 2 players, since we play a lot of 2-player games, and thought the idea of trick-taking combined with tile-laying was a really cool concept.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of Carcassonne in that you're building a city and you have to think about what works next to what other resource or square, but you're really working independently. The trick taking is where there's some player interaction, but you have responsibility for your own land. We've played the 2-player a few times, but we've played with 3 and 4 players quite a few times, and everyone we teach seems to really like it. It's just easy and requires some strategy.
Yeah, there is a lot of game here for a small package, only slightly overpackaged. Maybe there'll be an expansion with some extra cards that'll fit in the box. But what you're getting is quite a bit of strategy for something that can be played very quickly. But what's really nice is that every turn you're getting this new spatial problem to solve. So it's really exciting. You're getting this new card. It's pretty mathy. The strategy is really great in the sense that there's a lot of different paths to victory, although you really have to be conscious of like points that you're getting and points that you're passing up based on what you're covering up, or adjacencies that you're missing out on when you start to play a game. So that really satisfied my kind of urge for something that was a fairly deep strategy game, but really easy to teach and pick up, and something that as soon as you play a round, you just want to play another round again. So
it's not complicated. It's complex, but it's certainly not complicated. And yeah, for sure, I've been going for cities and forests and lakes more than I have resources, and I'm noticing now after like 10 games that I probably shouldn't forget that I need to move a resource onto a factory, or I'm going to lose out on quite a few points.
I think part of the strategy is definitely balancing things that you're going for, because at times you're not going to get the card that you want. However, the cards are fairly well balanced in terms of the total amount of points they might give you. So you really just have to be strategic in leaving your city with enough open options to use different things. Starting a lake district where you can put lake cards that might also give you forest points or resources in other ways, even though they might be distant from your city that's counting. And we found that it plays really, really well in both ways, and the 2-player variant, I think they did a really good job in making it work for 2 players.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't. There's no one way that seems forced or clunky. It's like seamless. The theme is interesting because the cards are really beautiful. The artwork is great. There is, there's a slightly different look between the backs of cards and the fronts of cards, but I quite like the look of the cities and the forests, and despite the fact that I think this could have a completely different theme. This could be medieval towns, or it could be like New England farms or something else totally different, and the mechanic could transfer to another theme really easily. I think it's a nice theme. I think the orthogonal look and the squares really work with a aerial view of Japan image, so that's great.
Yeah, the thing I'll say is that the color palette is really nice. I think it's balanced. The cubes and the colors they've selected are all really beautiful, and the whole thing just as a package is really nice graphically.
For sure, because we've played some games recently where the color choices of board and tokens has made it a bit blurry, like Via Nebula and New York 1901, where I get a little bit confused about whose tile. But this is really, I'm never confused about what's happening on my own board. I never accidentally forget something because of the design of the game. It
definitely has that feeling of a mosaic that is being created before your eyes. So it's a really beautiful game to kind of put together, especially when you're playing with a large group of people, and then you get to see all of the cities afterwards, which is all really nice. So in terms of components wise, all, good quality cards, good quality cubes. They really need to include a score sheet because it's really hard to tabulate. So you'll need a smartphone or a really good brain
pen and paper works
to keep all the numbers straight as you're tabulating the scores. So the player aids are really great. Also, they're super clear and concise. The score modifiers we haven't really played with that much, so we don't have a really good experience with them. I think that they probably add a lot of variety and just change up the balance of the game, so we're kind of hopeful that once we've gotten even more plays and get a little bit tired of playing it, which we haven't yet, these will help to add some variety. And it's also a platform, this is a game that can easily be built upon.
Sure.
I could see an expansion adding different types of land uses that could be thrown into the mix, as well as other score modifiers and that sort of thing, new resources, etc. So the game is not available in North America currently. However, I believe the designers are seeking a North American publisher. So I would expect it to be coming stateside very soon. Certainly, we hope it does. It's really a fantastic game, and in our gaming group, it's just been really popular. So we're excited to see what happens with it.
I feel like this game has a lot of potential to become very popular, and I would say that's probably mostly through ease of learning and that it's got some complexity, but you don't have to play it at the most complex level. So it's good for a range of ages and good for a range of intensity, people who want to play it super competitively or people who just think it's neat that you're figuring out how to build a city to get the most points and you're having to strategically place cards. It's just beautiful and simple.
Yeah, and at 15 to 30 minutes, it's a really good filler. So it's good at breaking up a long gaming session with something that actually feels like you've, accomplished something of strategic merit. So yeah, it's definitely up there in terms of games of that length for us. Yeah, one of our favorites for sure. Hey guys, thanks for watching our first video review.
We have enjoyed other people's content on playthroughs and reviews so much, and we are just hoping to contribute to that conversation.
Yeah, so if you liked what you saw, please give us a like. If you'd like to see more content, please give us a subscribe. And please leave a comment. What did you think of Honshu? Or what would you like to see in the videos? So, thanks for watching, and until next time, is it my turn?
It's your turn.